Hello folks, so today we will talk about some connected topic to the self-sovereign identities, but more general one. Everybody knows about the blockchains, yeah, and it's a simple concept. We all know this, that we have connected blocks that aggregate the transactions and all of the things, but one big problem of the blockchains that they are global, yeah, they distributed, but they extremely slow because they need to maintain the global ordered things. They should have the consensus and all of those things. So quite often we need something much simpler, or quite often we need something maybe not so global. So that's why we have a different thing that we have couple of similar data structures, but not so slow and more portable. So we will talk today about the nano-ledgers, micro-ledgers, and actually something like authenticity chained data containers. So what is it and what it's about? So first of all, we have some kind of event systems where we have the sequence of event that make some statement about the change of the object or whatever. So that's quite common. For example, we have the DAD, so we have the identifier, and we have a history of changing of the keys and authorities for the identifier. So that's the key event log. So it's one of the basics of the carry protocol and carry DAD method and all other things that we maybe will talk in our other videos. So if we will try to summarize, so the simplest data structure is the linked list. Yeah, so we have addressable space somewhere, and in our case is the memory, and we have data together with the link to the next block. So it's good enough. Everybody studied this in a university. It's a well-known data structure. So the next step, when we want to take this linked list and add a bit more of the data integrity on top. So we just want to make sure that the next block will be somehow connected with the previous block, and we have no chance to change something in the middle. So this problem solved by the nano-ledger. So it's the same data structure, but we have the digest of the previous block, and it's included in the next block. So that's it. So it's super simple. So nano-ledger, the main function, it's the data integrity. So it's super simple. It's enough to have something called seal, so it's the digest of the block, and right now this things is connected. So you have the digest, you have the data, and you have the connection to the next block. That's it. So, and maybe even you have not the data, but some reference to where data is located. So it's good enough, and it's more flexible because you could separate the data and all those things. So the next step, it's the micro-ledger, and micro-ledger get the same concept of the data integrity as a nano-ledger, but right now for us it's extremely important, the authenticity of the data. So we have the owner of the data, or we have somehow the issuer of the data, or connection to the source of the data. So right now we need something that will confirm the authenticity of the data. So authenticity of the data usually could be confirmed by the asymmetric cryptography with the signature. Yeah, so we have the signature of the block together with some kind of issuer or owner identity, and this identity could be whatever. Could be the identity that allow us somehow to get the public key. So for example, the good example of this could be the DID or whatever. So we have the on top of our nano-ledger, we add two fields. So we add the signature and we add some kind of identifier that allow us to get the public key of owner or issuer or whatever. So together these two actually already form something called the micro-ledger. So the micro-ledgers could be local, they could form some kind of append only event log. And now it's more interesting thing. So if you have some requirements of ordering of the events, then you need to have some kind of timestamp that cryptographically verifiable, and this time evidence that this block appear earlier than the previous one and so on. So then you need this kind of things on top, but actually your micro-ledger is ready. So you have the data integrity, you have the signatures and identifiers who give you the public key, and you already have something that other people will name the authenticity chained data containers. So it's the yet another definition of the micro-ledgers, that you have the verifiable containers. So when we're talking about the authenticity of the data, we usually mean the signature. So if you will build some kind of the pyramid in a data world, we have the integrity, then we have the authenticity, yeah, the signatures solve this problem, and next level or last level is the veracity of the data. Yeah, then we know that this data is the trustful data, we have a governance in the top, and usually the basic instruments of the self-sovereign identities give us the authenticity of the data, but veracity of the data should be solved by the bigger system that have a governance, that have the meaning of the data, that have apply some rules, restrictions and all other things. But for the micro-ledger, we talk about the authenticity of the data, and here what kind of connection with the self-sovereign identities and micro-ledgers we have. First of all, the micro-ledgers could be append only log that have a history of the changing for the DIDs and allow us to build variety of decentralized DID methods that we could use. It's one application. Another application that, for example, we could see verifiable credentials as authenticity data containers, and we could modify the verifiable credentials to contain the links to other credentials, and they will form the authenticity chained data containers that actually some kind of blockchain where the blocks actually is the verifiable credentials, and you could have your own wallets or spaces that will contain these chains, and you could build a lot of systems on top of it. So the micro-ledgers itself could be utilized as a chain of the verifiable credentials. So these nano micro ledgers are fast, are local or co-local data and verifiable things. It's extremely important. So it's quite a lot of interesting applications of these concepts, and it's crucial to understand. If you want to know more, please subscribe to my channel, give the likes, write the comments where you use the micro ledgers. Maybe you're not even aware that you use something like that, or maybe you have some right ideas how you could build such things together. So it was nice to see you again. Choose.